Laura, bye.
Local small businesses say they're as confident as President Trump in their success, but they disagree on what's leading to it. Good evening, everyone. I'm Emily Spain.
And I'm Claire Kopsky. In his State of the Union address, President Trump said small business confidence is at an all-time high. KMUH's Lindsay Favoglia talked to several local businesses today, and she's in the studio to tell us what they think.
Several workers told me today that things are going well. And even if they don't know what's causing their success, they are confident in their company and customers.
Small business is booming, according to President Trump.
The Chamber of Commerce president says some businesses are capitalizing on presidential tax cuts by giving bonuses to employees. In the studio, Lindsay Favoglia, KMUH News.
Dozens of Republican lawmakers and staffers are shaken after a train they were on crashed in Virginia this morning. The crash killed one person in the truck and hurt 5 others. They were headed to a policy retreat in West Virginia when the train hit a truck at a crossing. They later made it to their destination, but they're still talking about what happened.
So I think the closer you were, the more of an impact there was. It did derail the engine car. But it still took us a while to stop. It probably, like I said, I moved back about 10 cars. It took about that long to stop the train.
Missouri Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler was one of the GOP lawmakers on the train. Hartzler posted this video of the aftermath on Twitter. She says she is okay. A University of Missouri grad student wants to be Missouri's next freshman congresswoman. 28-year-old Democrat Hallie Thompson is throwing her hat into a hotly contested 4th District race. Thompson says she knows she's a long shot, but her studies have taught her to not be afraid of failure.
You know, you learn some things whenever you're getting a PhD, and one of them is tenacity. You learn to fail. You learn to pick everything up again and try. And you fail and you try again. And I think that's something that's really important for people running for public office.
Thompson is the second candidate in the Democratic race. She will face Renee Hoganson in August for a chance to run against incumbent Republican Vicky Hartzler, who has represented the 4th District for 7 years.
Tonight, suspended Mizzou basketball player Terrence Phillips tells the KC Star the Me Too movement is the cool thing to do and is denying allegations against him. Phillips is currently being investigated by the MU's Title IX office. Today, he responded to allegations talking to the Kansas City Star. The Star has reported at least 4 students have filed complaints against him. The complaints involve physical abuse and harassment. Here's the full comment to the Star. There are 2 sides to every story. Some people really want to say me too because apparently it's the cool thing to do. I have a side. I am cooperating with Mizzou like I was instructed. Unfortunately, I cannot say a lot, but at the end of the investigation, I intend to be cleared from the accusations. People who know me know this isn't me. The university cannot comment on whether he is the subject of the Title IX investigation.
Carl DeBrody's family wants to know what happened to him before he died and was found encased in concrete. His mother, Carolyn Summers, filed a wrongful death lawsuit against 23 different people and agencies. The defendants include Second Chance Homes, where DeBrody lived when he disappeared, and the Missouri Department of Mental Health. The suit claims all of the defendants were negligent in providing DeBrody safety and care and then conspired to cover up his death.
This isn't just a case about Mr. DeBrody and his death. It's a case about a system that failed, and if nothing else, Mrs. Summers wants something done to find out why it failed, and we need to correct it.
Veet says it will likely be a lengthy process before the case could go to trial. DeBrody was reported missing on April 17th of last year, and his body was found in concrete exactly 1 week later after an extensive search. No charges or arrests have been made.
Missouri is back on the map as a possible site for the Hyperloop. It's a high-speed, high-tech transport system that could get you from Kansas City to St. Louis in the time it takes you to watch this newscast. KMUH's Nora Ferris is in the studio to tell us what all the hype is about.
Missouri didn't make the cut for the list of potential building sites for Virgin Hyperloop One's potential Hyperloop system, but now the Show Me State is back in the running for the Hyperloop system. Ever thought of going a little over the speed limit? But it could be a long road to get there. The privately funded feasibility study is expected to take between 7 and 9 months. Virgin Hyperloop One would select a site for the first project in 2019 at the earliest. Reporting in the studio, Nora Ferris, KMU8 News.
The City Council plans to vote Monday on a $30 million contract for solar power. The city would contract Truman Solar to produce power for the next 30 years. The deal is expected to increase the city's power produced from renewable resources by about 2%. Councilmember Michael Trapp says the price for solar power is about $20 per megawatt per hour, cheaper than coal energy. He says he thinks it's a good deal for the city.
It's a way to obtain reliable, renewable energy at a good cost for a long time horizon.
The solar facility would be set to open in April of 2019.
Well, it's a nice day out there for January, that's for sure. And it's the last day of January, but Kenton says February going to be a lot colder. Kenton.
At least the beginning of it, that's for sure, Emily. Thank you very much.
The CDC director has resigned. How ties to big tobacco could have kept her from doing part of her job.
And a rare moon was over mid-Missouri early this morning. We'll take a look at pictures you shared with us in today's talk. We'll be right back.
Here's what's happening right now. The top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee is calling a vote to release a classified memo to the Representative Adam Schiff says this is because Republicans changed part of the document before sending it to the White House for review. The memo comes from a GOP effort to prove improper use of surveillance by the FBI in its Russia investigation.
The head of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention resigned amid financial concerns today. Dr. Brenda Fitzgerald is out after a report revealed she bought tobacco and healthcare stocks 1 month after she took the job. The CDC is the lead federal agency for preventing and reducing tobacco use. The Department of Health and Human Services released a statement saying her financial interests limited her from fulfilling all her duties as CDC director. Kansas has a new governor. He was sworn in at the State House today. Jeff Collier will serve 7 months until the state's primary election. Collier was the state's lieutenant governor for 7 years. He says he plans to keep his other job. He's a surgeon and will keep seeing patients for a few hours a week. The previous governor will serve as the ambassador for the religious freedom. More than a dozen Democrats and Republican candidates are gearing up to replace him and run against him in the August primary.
Missouri colleges are looking for help to make ends meet and could mean higher tuition bills for students. Lawmakers are talking about raising the cap on how much universities and colleges can charge students for tuition. Currently, higher education institutions are not allowed to raise tuition costs above the increased inflation rate. Senator Caleb Rowden wants to change that with a bill that could let colleges raise tuition costs up to 10% above that rate. The system says it realizes raising tuition too high could hurt students. And one reason higher tuition could be needed, huge cuts in higher education budgets. This year, colleges and universities could see $98 million less than last year. Today, system representatives, along with other state universities, addressed the subcommittee on appropriations on education. They all have concerns with Governor Greitens' proposed budget. Subcommittee chairman says cuts are more drastic than anticipated. He and other members say they are concerned about the effect on all state universities. system president Moon Choi says the 4 campuses had 500 staff and faculty separations just this past year. Now, he is concerned the cuts will creep into other areas needed to function. Choi says he will continue working with legislators and making a case to the public to show higher education is a good investment for the future.
People across mid-Missouri caught the rare super blood moon overnight. A blue moon, a supermoon, and a lunar eclipse at the same time. It was the first time this happened in North America in more than 150 years. Here's what some viewers in mid-Missouri saw. Take a peek. Pam Helmich, the steward, says she caught the beginning of it in Moberly. Crystal Schultz says she couldn't get a good view of it. She only saw the clouds in Lynn. And Eric Cunningham shared a photo from Holt Summit. He said the stars were shining overhead, so people east of him could have probably seen it.
Great pictures there. Let's take a look at our flight forecast for the day tomorrow. We're not expecting any delays in these areas, but look, it's a cold one in Chicago, 21 degrees, much warmer in Dallas at 62, and we're going to hang off in the lower 30s tomorrow. And then as we're still pretty cold this weekend, we do have chances for rain and snow, and next week too. I've got full forecast for you. It's coming up right after the break.
Former USA Gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar is back in court for another sentencing. That's after weather. Welcome back. Former USA Gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar is back in court for another sentencing hearing. Nassar faces more charges of sexual abuse. In this case, Nassar has admitted to sexually abusing 3 girls under the guise of medical treatment. The judge says more than 250 people have come forward with complaints. Nassar previously was sentenced to 60 years in prison on child pornography charges, and just last week, up to 175 years. Michigan State University students are protesting their new interim president. The school's board of trustees chose former Michigan Governor John Engler. Students and faculty interrupted Engler's first news conference in the position, demanding to be heard. The last president resigned after criticism of how the university handled sexual abuse complaints against Nassar, who previously worked for the university.
A Michigan police chief is apologizing for an officer who did not take accusations by a Nassar survivor seriously. Breanne Randall Gay told police Nassar sexually assaulted her back in 2004. Meridian Chief of Police David Hall will offer a public apology to her tomorrow.
We can't speculate on how it would have turned out, but we would have liked to have the chance to do that one over again.
The police department will also announce new initiatives regarding sexual misconduct investigations. Tonight was the semifinals for the Southern Boone Classic. Find out who moved on next in sports.
Here's a look at what we're following for tomorrow morning. African American History Month kicks off tomorrow, and MU groups are preparing to participate.
We'll show you what Billie Holiday, Nina Simone, and Roberta Flack have to do with the celebration. Join Megan, Judy, and Landon Burke tomorrow morning for KMU 8 News Today, starting at 4:30.
And join Tori Stepanek as well. She'll be tracking some sprinkles and maybe even some flurries through the area tomorrow morning. Also, if you don't like the cold, you might not like the beginning of February, but there are good things as well if you like more daylight, because we're adding 2 more minutes to daylight tomorrow than we had today. And then by the end of next month, we'll have a total of an hour and about 3 minutes there more of daylight. Otherwise, temperatures at 35 on Friday, still cold the next couple days. And then over the weekend, we are mainly dry. Maybe a sprinkle here, maybe some flurries here or there, but over the weekend, we're not expecting too much snow, at least at this point. Stay tuned. Better chances arrive, though, the middle of next week, Tuesday and Wednesday.
I feel like we need some snow because the Winter Olympics are about to
Yes.
start.
I was just about to
get in the
say,
spirit.
coverage right there on the answer. Coverage starts next Thursday, a week from tomorrow, right here. Yeah. Oh,
One
yeah.
of the best times of the year.
Yeah.
I think.
Olympics, whether it's winter or summer,
so quick,
it's
too.
great.
It
You get that year-and-a-half break.
does.
It's nice.
Thanks for joining us tonight, folks.
Have a great night.